Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which can be, sober or not sober. It can be definitely high or low, and in this case, or drunk. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Yay! We're talking about Love After Lockup. It's season 4. It's episode 9. It's Drunk in Love. We be all night. Love. Anyway, you're welcome. Great.
Yeah.
Wall loves Beyonce. One thing about Wall is that she's big member of the Beehive, honey. Huge Beehive. That's the queen right there of the Beehive.
Wow, she really wants to get me stung. That's nice. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know, friend.
Mhm.
This is episode 39, you guys, and we're almost close to Life After Lockup, featuring our friend Lindsay and her man Blaine, dang dong Blaine.
Yeah, our
And
friend.
it's got
Friend.
Justine and Mike, and it's got Puppy and Amber. It's got a lot of the heavy hitters that we love. Brittany and Marcelino, I hear, are coming back.
I'm sure they are. I feel like obviously, I think that Lindsay and Blaine is like they keep showing Lindsay being like the sex with Blaine is great, and I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. Like I also love her Instagram. She's always showing off like how stable and lovely her daughter is, which I'm here for it. Like Lindsay gives hardcore big sis energy to her daughter. Like and I, I don't know. So I wish her the best. And yeah, like now I want Lindsay to be my new Brittany and Marcelino. I'm over Brittany and Marcelino. Like I want Lindsay to have a flourishing, successful, happy life where she's like free from the cycle of any sort of like prison situation or drugs.
Yes, I want her. I want that for her too.
Okay.
Speaking of free of the cycle of drugs and prison, first up is Nathan and Skylar.
hmm
Um, they really don't need to be together, and he is abusive.
hmm
Um, I I don't even know if I want to. You tell me. Do you want to go chronological in order with them? I just feel like I want to get to the nuts and bolts of it.
Well, yeah, this is a weird, I think it's because it's weird because there's the part with Skyla and her mom, which is, yeah, let's go through it. I want to go through it. So he's upset waiting for her to come back. And he tells the story that basically she came in, she had lied somehow to him. He gets upset that she lies and she's drunk. So then he gets drunk. Then they both break each other's phones. So then we cut to Skylar and her mom. And it's weird. It's like, Skylar is like, why are you taking this way? It's not the way that we're usually going. And in Skylar, in that moment, in that one clip, I'm like, oh my God, is she high? Like, it was very confusing. It was like a very like slurried question. But we've already established that she didn't relapse. Her mom drives her to a cemetery, is like, I don't want to come visit my daughter here. And Skylar's like, well, people have told me that like they wrote my eulogies and that's like fucked up. And she's like, yeah, mom, don't worry. Like, I'll come visit you here. They're like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, the normal way.
Yeah, what you forgot to say is that
Okay.
Skylar lied to his face.
Yeah, no, I
I
had
think
to read
that's
it. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. I never
You
talked.
wrote that, so I wanted you to be able to say that with the gusto in which you wrote that down because that's important.
He
Yeah.
just like takes it so personally, and like what this lie is or is not is very confusing because, and it is steeped in the deep insecurity where he holds on to a truth that's actually not a truth, which is that she is out on the dick hunt, honey. She's on a dick hunt.
Oh,
Remember a duck hunt? You know how you would play that's a dick hunt, honey. She's like shooting them down. Sometimes she practices with clay discs. Anyway, so he the mom is like, like, why are you in this situation? And like, this is no good for you. And you're just like so dumb, and like, why is this happening? And she's like, yeah, no, I get it. But also it's like sometimes okay. It's like sometimes has benefits. She later on in the thing says, and I think what the deep thing is that she must have a deep, 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 deep fear of being alone. And I think that she really, through whatever trauma or whatever it is, she the thought of being alone for her is so scary that she remains in troubled situations even when she's young and lovely and can really have like all her options because of whatever's like trapping her there, which is some sort of like fear of being alone, right?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I never had that. I never I never once visioned my future and went, "Oh, that has to have someone in it."
Hmm.
Like, it would be definitely like I envisioned having someone in it for
Mhm.
sure,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not the pushing thought that it has to be this way. And so it's really interesting because she's like, "Am I with Nathan because I'm afraid of being alone? Possibly. Am I doing this because I love him? Maybe. Am I doing drugs and acting running amok and being crazy because I want people to pay attention to me? Perhaps." Like she's just like basically tells us, yes, that she's scared to be alone. And so being with Nathan is better than being single, which I'm just like, where does that come from? And you're right, it's some kind of trauma. And it's like, did her father leave her mother as like unceremoniously? And then her mother was wailing in the streets about being alone. And so that's how Skylar was like, oh my God, that can never be me because I don't want to be my mom wailing in the streets about how I'm now alone.
Yeah, yeah, much different than Yara's mom. Anyway, so God bless. They go and have like a final, like showdown in Nathan's grandma's house. Okay, and Nathan's sitting there, honey, and she comes in, and Nathan, honey, okay, they did this to him. They put him and sat him in a corner with the kind of backdrop that you would do if you were at Knott's Berry Farm and you wanted to one of those black and white pictures, honey, and you're gonna get your friend, you're all gonna like put on the mustiest costumes that everyone has wore and just like pose like you're dead people from the 1800s, like wow, that's like what. And the other half of me look at this picture is this. My other thing is, see that picture? See that doll? Wow, that's me. And by the way, when I say see that doll, there's a picture up in Patreon. You know that. And then if you're listening to the podcast, I'm so sorry. I have a picture of the doll. And Nathan, you're welcome. So the doll is me, Wow, in this. You see that doll? So pretty and
Yeah.
like little
Hmm.
princess. And
Hmm.
that man's my dad. And that man was like, how the hell do I raise this baby by myself?
Wait, the other thing is like they look like is yes, that is I don't know, yeah. They look like they just got transported into some prairie
Mhm.
house from Little House on the Prairie. I mean, that's a really old reference if you don't know what it is. You're you're younger than me. Little House on the Prairie, and I wrote in the notes, they have them sitting in a silly living room. It just is so out of it's like okay, they both should be she should be in petticoats 100% and he should be wearing like a suit with like maybe an Abe Lincoln hat because of that his beard. Um but this is the scene that I want to get to. So she comes in and she's like, let's talk. And he's just waiting for her to break up with him. And he's formulating all of these things that he's going to holler back at her. And then she's like, well, let's talk, Nathan. And he's like, well, the fact that you came in here and lied to my face. And she's like, I don't even understand like what you're talking about. So we get the backstory. We finally get the real story. This is what happens. He says in his confessionals that she was out drinking with friends and then she came home drunk. And then he was pissed off because she wasn't answering his phone calls. So then he decided to get drunk too. So they both started drinking and I guess fucking. And then they went to sleep. And the next morning he started fighting with her again. And she's like, I thought we fucked this out. I thought we like fucked this out of our systems. We're still talking about this shit. And so then he breaks her phone, she breaks his phone, and then they act like fucking idiots. They must have androids, right? Like these are people with androids because people who have iPhones, they don't. You break my iPhone, I'm breaking your face, or I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah, that's a great point because I'm like Nathan, God bless, like he always talks about money or not having money or like he steals, like Aladdin, like like breakfast. They live in this grandma's house. So like if Nathan had an iPhone, I think that he'd have to be more responsible. But then again, thinking about breaking each other's phones sounds like high school. It sounds like the craziest, dumbest high school thing that you would do. Like just being, I mean, just 12. So the fact that she did this is just, I mean, it's really embarrassing. It's like truly an embarrassing story. Like so anyway, let me say this. So then then he starts saying a bunch of crazy things, and here are some great lines, honey. He is like this. He's like, look, and he has already kind of said this kind of sentiment, but basically is like, if you want to be with me, you have to know what sets me off, and when you see it coming, you do what I want you to do. And he kind of says it again, like, you have to like not lie to me and let me know what's happening at all times and make me feel good. Like, and she's like, no, I came home. You were mad, not that I was drunk or hanging out with my friend. You were mad that you thought I was hanging out with dudes. Like, that's what it is. But like, I wasn't hanging out with dudes. Like, I don't want any dudes. Now, here's the thing. Do you believe that, Wa? Do you think
No.
that her and her drunk friend were not like kind of like having fun at the bar and flirting with other dudes?
You know what? Is my Wi-Fi terrible?
Well, in this moment, I think I was thinking that maybe something had happened.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hold on. Let me get through this. Clocking it. It's because I'm trying to upload a picture.
Take yourself off video for a second.
Oh, no, don't worry. I can just edit this out.
Okay. If you're on Patreon, you're just going to be sitting here through it. So, what do I do to entertain you? Can you flare your nostrils? I can. Just waiting for Juan to tell me she's ready.
Waiting for the Wi-Fi to get better.
All right. Well, I can hear and see you. So I'm like,
just sit in it, Chris. Just sit in this moment. Let's just have this moment together, you and I.
no.
We just sit in it while you eat. Go ahead and eat. Like, let's just sit in this. Like, you'll be fine. It's only a minute. And Patreon people, guys, you guys are fine, right? Everyone's fine. All right, and we're back. But we're gonna get my hot take. Okay, so here's the truth. I'm really bad at not believing. I feel like sometimes you and other folk in the podcasting world will be like, "Do you believe that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I fully believed it." Every time. And I'm like, "Oh, no, I didn't believe it." It's only if they actually come in looking shifty do I not believe it. But in that moment, I'm like, no, I just thought she was probably just like hanging out with her girls.
That red-haired girl, they like to have fun. They're hot. They're young. Why wasn't he there, I wonder?
Why should he be there?
Well, because I know he's a huge party pooper. A real Debbie Downer, that one. But
I mean, she's with her friends. Like, why can't she hang out with her friends without him being there and without him accusing her of, like, here's the truth. If she had answered her phone, that doesn't mean that she's not talking to other guys. I could fully be talking to another guy and be like, "Hey, babe. Yeah, you're hot. Yeah, you're so cute. You're so cute. Yeah, babe, I'm fine. Bye." You know what I'm saying? There is.
Oh, yeah. I could be on top of someone, literally writing them and texting someone else.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, for that to be the reason why he's thinking she's talking to other guys is like wild.
So, yeah, I mean, she's like, okay, you always turn things around on me. You're always just like, you need to do this. But like, how about you? So then she's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm DONE. I'm done. And like her mom, when she probably watched the scene at first, started crying. She was like so excited. But then she was like, oh no, it's not real. Because then she goes outside. Nathan like gets up. He's like, babe, holds her face in her hands and just starts kissing her. And at first she's like, and like she's not giving her the kisses. And then she's like, and suddenly they're back together, honey, just like that. It looked just like that.
Yeah, because he came after her. And this is where it goes manipulative. Like, he yells at her and says all this stuff and tells her she's this. She stands her ground and then chooses to get up and leave. And then he follows behind her. And that shows true love. Then he's like, this is also what I'm thinking. Nathan is probably as close as she's going to get to a black man, or like a man that her parents are not going to like, to where she can actually like be with this man. Because Nathan goes into a black scent at the drop of a dime. And then he's like, you want to be with me? You want to love me? You think I'm ugly? You don't think I'm ugly? You want to have my baby kids? And I said, did you just say out of your Caucasoid mouth, do you want to have my baby kids? Wow.
You know what? You did write that down. And I'm going to tell you right now. I'm the dumbest person ever, and in the '90s, like, early aughts, there was I don't know if it still exists, a fashion brand, B-E-B-E, Bebe, BB, I don't know how you said it. Remember
I
for
thought it
me
was yeah, I thought it was pronounced BB. But did I call it Bebe? I did.
yeah, you know, we all didn't know. We all for suddenly we saw girls traipsing through this land with bedazzled BEBE shirts and different colors, always bedazzled, or just like, you know, very, very embroidered there. And we'd be like, that's you say it. But we would all go into the store and bought those shirts. And when I saw this note, I was like, do they reference that store? And I was waiting on bated breath for this reference. And honey, when I realized what it was and I didn't understand, I was like, oh, that's a letdown. Well, it was a letdown for me. Could you imagine if at some point they just like talked about Charlotte Russe kids or I don't know, like contemporary casual kids, like, you know, like it's just you
Did
made
you
me
ever
happy.
did you ever watch Bebe Kids?
No.
No. Do
What's
you know what it
what is
is?
no, no, I do not. The answer
Okay.
is no. What the hell?
Have you ever heard the saying, "We don't die, we multiply"? Do you know who
Wasn't that a
Robin Harris?
song? Yeah. We don't
You
die, we multiply. I feel like
maybe
I
it was a song, but if it was, the song was a song about Bebe Kids. So basically, Robin Harris is this comedian from the early '90s who died relatively young in his career, but all the comedians loved it and respected him. Before he died, he was in a few movies. He was in House Party as Pop, or House Party One as Pop, and
mhm.
he actually had a skit or a ongoing joke, a bit. He had a bit in his comedy routine about his cousin Bebe and how she had a bunch of badass kids. So then that got turned into an animated movie called Bebe Kids about this man named, I think, Robin, who has to like take care of his sister's kids or something. And one of the baby always got like doo doo in the diaper. And so, like in the cartoon, this baby just flying around its butt. And it's like these badass kids. At the end of the day, like the kids are just neglected because baby ain't shit. And he wants to like take the kids in. It's 3 kids. And so the whole thing is like they so bad and they don't die, they multiply. Like baby kids, like when they get around other kids, they influence the other kids and make the other kids bad. So, anyways, baby kids is a whole thing.
Like,
And
I just looked it up. You know what? Like it's coming the picture that I'm looking at is coming back to me.
it's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. Anyways,
Oh,
so
what if Nathan says you wanna have my baby kids and he means he's referencing this show?
yeah, he's referencing you want to have my little badass kids.
Oh, because then in my mind I was like, well, I thought maybe he was saying like, "You wanna have my bebes?" Some sort of Spanish or some sort of other word for babies. Wanna have my bebes and kids is also what I thought maybe he meant. Like, do you want them, you know, multiply like we said, you know?
Yeah, no, he want to have my baby kids. So like, you want to have my badass little kids. And so this, and also him saying the N word a couple episodes
Yeah.
ago. Like this man, like I think for her, he's like this badass, like
Yes.
rough boy, but it's
Yes.
like also kind of hip hop and like cool. And then he's like, "Don't be disrespecting me. All I want is for you to be loyal and to respect me. And you coming here lying in my face ain't respectful." It's very like machismo. And the truth is like any guy from her world is not going to treat her this way. And I understand the lore or like the desire to want to be around such a masculine man who like wants to protect you, but all they ask is for your respect and your loyalty, whatever the hell that means. I never understand what it's like. These hoes ain't loyal. Loyal to what? Are you a king?
Like Kimberly was loyal to Usman until it wasn't loyalty enough by not letting her
Loyalty, but like what does that mean? What do men say when they want a woman who's loyal? To me, it's like I used to want a woman who's not going to cheat on you, and I'm like that's a fair thing. But I would never say I want someone who's loyal. That makes me feel like a monarch.
I think that a low key it means, and this is what this person wants to say is, I want you to be loyal to me. I want you to prioritize me. I want you
Oh,
to at times see where I am and prioritize me in front of other things like your friends or your desire to get drunk, so you being loyal to me. And I think that you have to have a certain mindset to think it that way. But I do think that's what Nathan thinks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great, 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 great hot take, Chris. Yeah, that's now it puts it all in perspective to me. Let's move on to this next couple, only because they were short and he is short, and there's a lot of short actions occurring at this time. At this time, I'm like, oh, Cameron gets on my nerves. Like he really painted himself in a bad light this episode, in a way that has made him unredeemable.
Here's the thing. Eris, and I need you to know this, and Cameron ain't shit. Cameron's has a journey, honey, and he's a single person on that journey, honey. He might love, he might love having, a lady sit on that face, honey, but like, I have to tell you, that's a bar stool. That's not it's not a, God, what is a good metaphor? It's not a recliner. You know how like you just wouldn't be on a bar stool because you'd be like no back support for like not a long period of time, like maybe just like on a bar stool you order a drink. But like you could spend a long time in a recliner. That's the metaphor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really thinking that he went on that with me. But anyway, yeah. Let me tell you, it starts and I forget for a second why she's sick. And she's like, I've been throwing up, blah, blah, blue. It's like she said she's feeling sick. Then she had the scene with her daughter, and then she like goes full blown like she's throwing up. She doesn't look or feel good. And Cameron, we pick up, is drunk, just meandering through the hotel. Okay. I mean, at one point, production's like, can you get on the escalator? He's like, boo. He gets dropped off at this hotel. He has no idea how, no idea why. He's like, my knuckles are swollen. Who did I hit? What did I hit? What did I drink? Who am I? None of it. No clue. They show him, and then they show her. She's like, upset. She's looking, trying to find him. There's no, she can't find him. She's like, it looks like he's in one place, and I just can't tell if he's moved from that place. It cuts to him. He's found a corner. He's like, where's my phone? And then it goes an hour later. He uses the key card to get into the actual room. I think, and he kind of says that he was trying to, honey, sober up as much as possible before he like got into that hotel room, but he did a really bad job. And here's the thing. It really would have been great if like he had eaten probably something, but I don't know if like room service was done. He face plants into this bed. I mean, horizontally and vertically is how she sleeps. It's like he is perpendicular on this bed across from her. And she's like, did you bring me any drugs? I mean, like any like prescription, I'm sorry, like, did you bring me any like medicine is the word? Did you bring me any like Gatorade? I've been trying to like text you. And he's like passed out. Now, here's the thing. Once you see that person's state of condition, you obviously know they didn't bring you anything. I thought it was a weird ask. And my other thought was, okay, also, if you haven't gotten that and you feel like you really need it and no one's, contacting you, like, let's just get it yourself, my love. Let's just like DoorDash something. You're at a hotel, like that will make it bring you up something, like let's pay the people that are like that you're paying. So then she's like asking those questions. He can't even talk. She's like, get out of the room, get out of the room. He like won't even move. He's like dead, and then she's kind of says this. She's like, and I'll give you the quote that you wrote down so you can say that, but she has this air of like, I can't believe that he wouldn't be able to take care of me. And that happens a lot to people who expect someone right out of prison to show up for them in a fully committed, healthy relationship type of way. And every time they say something like that, I'm always like, but why? But look what you expected from that person. Like, but let's talk about that. But talk about what she says. It's hilarious.
So she says he knows that he shouldn't be drinking because he got put back into prison off of a dirty breathalyzer. And she's like, if you can't take your freedom seriously, how are you supposed to take marriage seriously? And I'm going to defend her and say that Cameron wasn't in prison for that long. And I think she probably saw him on Facebook and saw him as a fully functioning adult. So maybe when he got out, she probably figured that he would be able to handle it, because it's the same faith that Justine has in Michael.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's like, you this person tells you that they're ready. They tell you over and over again that
Yeah.
you are who they want to be with, and you have such a great relationship over the phone. And truthfully, I think that any relationship that you have with somebody over long distance or over the phone or letters or whatever, you tend to feel like you know that person more because you've had less physical contact and more emotional and mental contact. You've talked about a lot of great things. Let me tell you, I guess I get it because I wrote somebody in prison. Like, I get it. Like, I get that that you're like, okay, this person wants better. But what I think most people need to realize, and this is something that I've learned throughout my life, is that people are who they are. And even though they think that they're going to get better, and they think that they're going to like change the fundamentals of who they are and the pathways that they've chosen to take in order for to survive, it's very scary to do so. It would be like, it's like Monique and Derek, just to go to them real quick. Derek could have been from better circumstances. The fact that his great grandmother owns a home means that at some point in his lineage, the black folks were doing well. And then the 90s hit or the 80s hit, and whatever the fuck happened to have his father lose his teeth, crack. And then also what made his father have a baby with someone like Derek's mother, who from Derek's own mouth says she was a woman from the streets. People make choices and then they're down that path. And Cameron is no exception to that. You see his siblings and his family seems to be pretty put together, but he made choices and now he's an alcoholic who says when he's sober that when I was drunk, I don't remember anything, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
She can't help him. She can't fix him. He's not going to be a good father. I hope that she walks away from him at that point because really she got to take care of her daughter and she doesn't have time to be trying to like save his ass.
Oh, I completely agree, and that's a beautiful daughter. He has a little aside, one of his like quick commercial cuts where it's more like, taking back the curtain of prison life, where he talks about the fact that he named his cell Afghanistan, and it was like the party spot. People always want to go to Afghanistan. I'm like, God bless the people. Nope, that's not what it was.
Oh,
What?
no, I'm reacting to you.
Oh. Oh, sorry, sorry. I thought so too, but I know, but for some reason I was like, am I crazy? Yeah. So he also talks about, yeah, his was a party spot, and he got whatever he wanted in prison. It's like he's like everything you can get. You can get weed, you get tobacco. I had Bluetooth speakers. Bluetooth. What was connecting with them? He's like, I had a Roku stick, honey. He was like, they're watching Netflix, honey. You know what I'm saying? And then he says, and this part I really do want to ask you all because I just want to make sure that I heard this right. He's like, no, you can, the best thing was like, how would you make like rolling papers on what we would smoke? And he describes, okay, a brown paper towel roller, like the inside makes sense. I'm like, uh-huh. And then he goes, and then coffee grinds that you like submerge in water and like dry or something. And then what I guess my question is, I thought he was going to say like the coffee filters, but what I think does he smoke coffee?
Yeah, I thought that it was like toilet paper that he like mixes with coffee grounds to make a gel-like substance so that it dries and then he smokes. So it's like a coffee blunt
There's okay, but is there anything, this is my question. Is there anything else in there or just coffee?
with weed.
Okay, so you smoke coffee and weed together. Have you heard, I mean like, is that, it's never knew about that. So like I hear
No,
it. Oh.
no, the blunt wrap.
Is it coffee? Is there coffee in that blunt wrap? Well, coffee's inside.
Not inside. The blunt wrap is made out of toilet paper, water, and coffee.
Oh, okay, okay.
And what's
I mean,
inside of it is weed. And you roll that up and you smoke it. So he's smoking a blunt made out of coffee grounds
you
with
know,
weed in the inside.
yeah, I guess in my mind, I'm like, if you already have a paper towel roll, which is basically like blunt wrap, or you can like, I feel like you can just pull it apart. Like, I guess I don't understand the need for the other coffee part.
I didn't know that it was the roll. I thought that it was actually paper, toilet paper. But I don't know. I don't remember to know. I thought when I heard that, I heard toilet paper. I didn't hear the actual cardboard roll.
Okay.
That feels like detrimental to your lungs.
Oh no, honey. Bad, 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 bad.
So he says that they were really slick like fish oil in prison. And then he didn't bring her medication. Like I truly believe that the point with the daughter, it was fake. I think that that was the next day or something like that. I don't think that that was the very same day that she was sick because she was like very, very hungover.
So how did she? I was like, my mind. I was like, what is
I
she
think
hungover from?
from her wedding.
But he's been gone the whole day drinking with his family. Okay, all right. Is she
So
that hungover still?
they woke up the next
24
day
hours
and
later?
they woke up the next day and they
Huh?
were supposed to go to his family threw a welcoming party for him
Yeah.
the day after the wedding.
Yes.
So they woke up
Uh
and
huh.
she was extremely hungover
Yes.
and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So he got up and went and she was like, I can't go. I'm not feeling well. You go ahead and go with your family.
Uh huh.
I think the scene where she gets ready and goes to see her daughter in another room, I think that was like producers playing with us. I don't think that that was the same day. I think she was sick in the bed the whole time.
Yeah, because you know, it almost feels like it's like, yeah. Then of course we have the scene from last one where the sisters get on the phone, like, we don't even really think you're sick. We just think you're like avoiding us. And then the next time we see her, she's on death's door where she didn't even look that sick before. So then I was like, is this Eris being like, I've gotten worse since I told you to
Oh,
leave without me? Like I was like, what am I even seeing? I mean, yeah. So I will say this: it doesn't feel like this match is made in for perpetuity, and it should be like, forever and ever. I do feel like, again, Eris, yeah, I think I get it. It's hard to be lonely, and it's hard to like want a guy to like come in and like be able to fill that father role. You have such a lovely, beautiful daughter, but this isn't it. It's what I
yeah.
feel.
Yeah, it's not.
No, no, no. Okay, you want to
All
move
right. Justine and Michael.
on? Okay.
Um, Justine has always gotten on my nerves, and she really got on my nerves this episode. Um, yeah, she got on my nerves. What did you think about her?
Well, first thing, we cut to like, their little opening image, and now her moniker and says that she's a homemaker, where it once was like, nurse. So it already like is happened. So basically, she's in the kitchen. She's like cleaning, like cleaning down them sinks. I just like see what's on top of that refrigerator, honey. It's like a mishmash of different bags. I think I see Ruffles. I think I see Doritos. I see Cheerios box. You know what I'm saying?
All the
Um,
things.
a lot of kids, honey. A lot of snacks. I also thought I'm thinking some sort of tortillas up there, and basically, they're like, my mom's coming," and he's like, cool. And she's like, I'm, gonna tell her. And he's like, don't tell her. And then they start kind of like bickering. And the bickering is like, okay. And then also like, she's really hard to please. She's very judgmental. You better not be late. And he's like, be like, why is she coming at me with like such negative energy? And Justine's like, because she feels like her daughter's already had to wait 3 years for you. So why should she wait like a moment longer? And I guess in my back in my mind, I was like, oh, okay, this is so interesting because already this entire scene is not coming from a pair working from like a partnership. Like I kind of end up understanding a little bit of what Michael thinks, which is we should be just telling her together. It's us where we should tell her together. You're not sulking away like having got knocked up in a one night stand by some dude that doesn't want to be with you. Like, like this is us, like, and I'm here and this is my baby. That's my baby. Now, the other thing about what the scene is also is the sort of unspoken thing that Justine's mom is like, you just got out of prison. There is no way you have money. And if you do have money, it's not legal. There's no way. There's no way you can tell my daughter that she doesn't have to work. There's no way. Because she has kids and you have kids. You have so many. How the fuck are you paying for there is not a job that you aren't suddenly a millionaire and the kids are so expensive for you to just be like, stay at home. So anyway, there's just a lot of like contention. And I will say, I think I've said that they feel fake a lot in their drama. This is actually one of their more what feels like real, authentic, combative, conflicting, scenes. Well,
Yeah, I think that Justine is a person who has run into a lot of calamity in her life, and she's a fuck up. And her mother is tired of picking up her shit. And so I think what happens is that she knows her mother is coming into town, so she wants to rip off the band-aid sooner than later, because she knows every single time she's told her mother that she's pregnant, her mother's not been happy because Justine chooses the wrong person every single time. So could you imagine a grandmother's experience to never, not one time your daughter has told you that she was pregnant and you should actually be excited for her because you felt like it was a mistake because of the yahoos that she's allowed in her life. And now this is the pinnacle of the yahoo behavior. Not only are you dating some man who's been in prison for 9 months, but you also have a damn TV show televising this whole situation. So now Justine knows that this is the case. And so she's nervous. And so she's taking all this shit out on Michael. And so he's like, why can't I be 20 minutes late? Well, my mom's going to be mad about that. And he's like, well, just tell her I'm going to be 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
That you can't just wait for me. Or say, let's go eat. Mike's going to be late. So he's like, he says that, he's like, damn, your mom's like that. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, your mom is like that? Like she can't even wait 20 minutes? Well, I think she thinks that if her daughter waited for somebody for 3 years, then why would she have to wait? And then I'm like, pump the brakes, bitch. Pump the brakes. He's just asking a question. He's trying to figure out, he already knows the woman doesn't like him and he doesn't want to tell her. So anyways, mom gets there and Justine has a big attitude and she gets dressed and she leaves with the mom. They walk to whatever dive bar they're eating at. And the mother, and then Justine is the one who starts to bring up everything about the next steps and having kids. And then she's like, well, it's the next step's already here. We're here now. And the mother's like, God, you're kidding. And she's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? And I'm like, Justine, I can't. I mean, this is the downfall of my life. If I ever had a child who just brought me so much grief. And so then, but Justine's also rude to her too. Like Justine is not as, and I can see why Justine felt like she could speak to Michael's mother in the way that she did.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she talks to her own mother like that and worse. But they both talk to each other like that. So Justine has that mean, nasty streak in her. Yeah. And this whole thing about her mother being judgmental, first of all, I hate that turn of phrase because people tell me that I'm judgmental too. And I'm like, so what am I supposed to do? Just move through life and people make stupid choices and I'm supposed to be like, what? I just, well, no, I'm going to be like, what the fuck did they do that for? I'm going to be like, what? Why would you make that choice? And that's not me being judgmental. I'm not judging you. I'm questioning your judgment, questioning it. So I hate that whole thing of like, when people who are just fucking up after just poor decision after poor decision think that people around them are judgmental. And I'm like, because you go to them for shit. Like, yeah, if somebody were to tell me, oh, this person, I don't know. Just anyways, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so let me also tell you that Sherry decided to wear 2 things to this meeting, okay? Very large, bejeweled, crystally chandelier earrings with a short sleeve cotton tee. Yeah. I mean, talk about gala on top and fucking Netflix and chill on the bottom. Like what? The glasses and the earrings and the roots? Like, look how light her roots are. Look how dark her hair is. Like this is a V-neck cotton shirt. I mean.
She spends all her money on Justine, paying Justine's bills. Did you know that to this day she's paying Justine's bills in Pennsylvania? That's wild.
No, I didn't know that. She's doing. Listen, those 2 women have, I think, one of those like love-hate relationships where like they can talk to each other like that because there's like, it's like that's how they treat people they love, you know?
Yeah, yes. Also, I just think that Justine has put her mother through a lot. And she's like, my mother's just gonna say whatever. She's just gonna say whatever. And I'm like, that's true. But also you deserve it. So
Yeah. And it hasn't stopped you for like, your mother saying,
yeah,
whatever hasn't stopped you from really, just not making
doing
great
whatever.
choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Mike doesn't like getting the third degree. So Sherry's like, "Well, what are you going to do for money?" So Mike a moment of sheer stupidity, or I don't know, frustration, says, "We're going to just leave it to God." And Sherry loses her fucking mind. She was the emoji with the head blowing off. She loses her mind, gets up and walks away. And that was my exact reaction. And Mike's like, fuck. Because he's respectful, he gets up and follows her. And Justine's like, you're gonna follow her? And he's like, yeah. So he goes outside. He's like, listen, I didn't mean to make a smart ass comment, but everyone keeps doubting what I'm doing and how I'm taking care of Justine, and I'm going to take care of her. I know you've got a lot. I know that you've watched her make poor decision after poor decision, and I'm telling you, I'm promising you, I'm going to be the one. And she's like, all the other guys, they know that I'm going to take care of her, so they just walk away. Justine's not getting child support for any of the other men. And I said, what? You were married to one of them and you're not getting child support from any of them? Michael, make her get child support for every single one of them kids.
Yeah.
Michael should absolutely make her get child support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you just get that money. Also, it just kind of remind me of him saying, like it's God's hands. Also made me think of when Daniela on Love in Paradise, or sorry, was on what we were talking about 90 Day Fiance, was like to her friends, like, what's your plan? Like, how are you gonna get money while you're there? And she's like, I'm gonna manifest it. And her friends were like, no, I'm gonna manifest it. Okay, well, have a manifesting, like, and so it was that a little more, but of course not the same in the sense that Justine's more than just like mom's just her friend. She's like, oh no, not my grandkids. So I do feel for her, because again, it's this thing where she's like, you don't have any money, so why are you so dumb? Why are you making her quit her job? So now what? She's gonna have to quit her job too. You're gonna take her out of the workforce, so she has no money coming to her to take care of her and her kids, not yours, her kids that she already has, plus whatever this new one is, God bless. You're gonna make her like not have at least that support. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, I just want her to be home more and like be more of a mom, and like take that pressure off. And it's just like, Justine's mom wants to be like, let me see your bank account, asshole. Where's the money? Let me see it. Let me see it. No, let me see it. Let me see the money. Is it the shoes? You think it's the shoes and you're making that money in the shoes? You are so financially secure right now that you're like, yeah, quit your job. On what money? Like, and the truth of the matter is, it's not everyone gets the honor of really laying that out, but if she is paying any of the bills that he enjoys, then yeah, valid question. Because they are sort of like seemingly idealistic teens. I will say this, their glow is running like kind of like fading for me. I think that we really started this series being like, well, he's gonna come out and he's gonna fucking rock it out, honey. He's gonna get back in the studio. He's gonna be like making this, and he's sort of tried and then puttered to like start those things, but obviously like hasn't really like gotten anything done. And at the same time, I don't see a world in which this man is making money. Like, and I know I have to, I guess, believe that there is just a huge sneakerhead prison thing that love his sneakers. Like, they are, all these people in prison just have thousands of dollars for a specific pair of Montana Mills sneakers, as opposed to Yeezys or anything else, not Yeezys, whatever, like Air Force Ones, who knows, specifically thousands on those. Well, help me. How can I believe that?
I mean, I have no idea how this person is making money besides the fact that he invested in some stuff before he went into prison and they're doing well. But yeah, so they all get in the car and take the mom to the hotel because she's tired. And Justine and her mother are bickering back and forth, and he can't stand the disrespect. So he's like, babe, come on, like, like everything's okay, Miss Sherry, good night, and then they get in the Miss Sherry goes in the car, and Justine feels an entire way about it. Justine is like, you're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be my husband. You're supposed to be supporting me. And then she's like, why does she have anything to say? I'm a 35-year-old married woman. I can get pregnant if I want to. And he's like, well, trying to like go, whatever, trying to make sense of it and talk to her. She's already in her mode. She's being nasty. And then he's like, he says something and she's like, well, this is what you signed up for. And she says it twice throughout this. This is what you signed up for. Like basically like, we're married now. So whatever it is that I do, whatever it is that I say, whatever it is that I am is what you signed up for. So, and he's like, you know what? And he flips her off so bad. And I was like, at least he flipped her off and didn't like say it to her. And then she is just like, whatever. So he pulls up, puts the car in park, and he's like, park your own damn car. And he gets up and he goes into the house. And I said, that's the nicest thing that he could have done because she was being nasty. He asked her not to tell the mother. And she said it anyway. And she was like, I was forced. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. We watched that conversation. No one forced you to say anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love the reason why he wants to tell her. And I get, because like I think it's a beautiful, responsible dad / parent / partner thing to be like, it's all, there's just like a ownership already, a mutual ownership of like, this is us. I mean, this is our thing, this is our life. We're married, again, like this is not shameful. This is not a mistake. This is not like your other ones. This is not a mistake. This we're, whatever. This is what I think that he thinks. I thought it was really, really sad when she talked about all the mistakes. I'm like, yeah, your grandchildren are going to watch this someday. You can't just like be so cold. She reminds me of Gabby's mom a little bit, and that just like cold, over it, your disappointment tone. Just like these moms look at their daughters' faces and they see a version of themselves, and I think also a version of the parts of themselves that maybe that they don't like and or they relate to, and that they felt held back from. There seems to be like a vitriol about it, like anyway. So yeah, I thought that was weird. Yeah, like are we on to what we have saved as our best couple?
We have two more.
Oh
We have
no.
Derek.
Oh, I forgot about. For some reason, I forgot about Derek. But you know what? This actually, I'm happy. Derek and Monique, and then Ashley and Travis. Let's go on to Derek and Monique, and then let's end on Ashley and Travis. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
So next we have Derek and Monique. Basically what happens in this one is they go to Big Mama's house. She's 95 years old. She has her own home, and her progeny have completely let her down. Now, I don't know if Derek's grandmother has passed on and that's why she's not there, or maybe, I don't know, her situation.
Okay. Yeah.
But literally her progeny her grandson has all of his teeth missing, all of his front teeth. And then he had the nerve to have a toothpick in his mouth. It's like, sir, what are you picking from where?
Oh, how is it there? How is it? What is, lips, I guess. Lips, only lips?
Lips in the back of his teeth. I just was like, sir, you're going to swallow that and there's going to be nothing to stop it. It's like your front teeth are just like escaping your mouth. They're gone, which led me to believe that he was on drugs. Yeah. And Derek says the last time that he's seen his father was in 2013, which happens to be the same year the mother passed away. And so it's just like, damn,
Yeah, he describes the fact that he loved his dad's family, like his grandma, as Wa said, has lived in the same house for a long time. And so he would go to visit them during the holidays. He talks about how he has a blended family. He said the word blended family. Did I rewind it? Yes, I did. Did I make a reel of it and put it to the DocuSweetie's Instagram? Wa, did I do that?
You did? That's great.
Can you listen to it right now for me?
Okay.
Just look at my work, Wa. Look at my work. How long did this reel take me, Wa? I'm gonna go ahead and just put out a number, 3 hours.
3 hours?
Took a long time. No, not really, kind of.
Oh.
Take your time, Wa.
Oh, you didn't put it to the stories. You just put it to the thing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. A blended family. He's trying to use words that's not, usually being used. So anyways, his father's side of the family is way more stable and probably has way more details alive and kicking than his mother's side of the family. And so he says that even though they had different fathers or different mothers, that they were all like, cool. But I'm like, where are they? Why aren't they on this show? Why do you have Elizabeth and the rest of them? So then he's like, um, I put teeth, brackets, and toothpick, but I didn't mean to put brackets. I meant to say something else. So then he introduces Big Mama as the monarch of the family, and you meant matriarch. Stop trying to use words. Stop trying to use words.
I swear to God, I thought he said monocle of the family. And I was like, "What? What do you think the woman is? A monocle of the family?" Yeah, he really, really thought he was saying matriarch.
Yeah. So then they sit down on the table to talk just about, what's going on. And Monique says that, this is not how she was accepted with his other side of the family. And this seems so much better. And the grandmother clocks it. The grandmother's like, yeah, people probably judge her for her size. And that's not fair. And listen, you know what also isn't fair is the difference between them. It is wild.
He's leaning back in this shot. He's taking a nap in this shot. I think he put his I think it's also that he put his chair back to lean back, and so it looks even extra wild. The grandma is gorgeous. I mean, she's wearing like little heart tops, like lives her life. Her house is really, really, really cute. And yeah, the way that she you know what? Yeah, she speaks of Monique with, a frankness that, belies her. I mean, a frankness that, is a trope of her generation, right? And the other thing about it, but it's also a warm one.
Mhm.
It's a warm, friendly, also very with it, very yeah, I love that grandma. In my
For
mind,
for 95 years old, she cognitively cognic
cogno
cog,
cognizant.
co-
No,
yeah, cognizant, but the like Lee word of it.
I
She's
know.
great. She's a great. I'm Derek right now. She's with it. She's
Yeah.
cognizant. She's up with the times. She's like, you put an ad on Facebook. Oh, So they had a moment where that Derek's dad is like, well, if you're nice to Derek, we love you, we support you, we're happy for you. Don't let that other side of the family, bring you down. We like you here. So then she's like, okay. So the guys go outside and kind of start talking about, the other side of the family and Monique and whatever. And so they talk, and then Monique goes into the bathroom but fakely, she also wants to like snoop through his prison stuff. And then she's acting all when he's like, Monique, Monique. And I'm like, did you not hear him calling you from the hallway so you could put his stuff away? And then she was trying to like hide stuff behind her back. And she was like, what? And I'm like, this is so stupid. That whole part was stupid.
Very stupid. There's no way in God's green earth that I expect anyone to be like, Chris? Yeah? What's behind your back? Nothing. Nothing behind my Nothing's behind my back. What do you mean talking? So something's on here. What? Like, it's as comically bad as like a 90s sitcom like that, where you're like, girl. So yeah, she wanted to put cameras in his house, and like she's like looking through the bookcase, being like, I'm gonna be great there so I can look at him all the time and I don't live here and see and sneak or whatever. It's like absolutely crazy and bananas and insecure and horrible. And of course, he comes in, finds her, as we've already said. And like, I don't think that he gets what she actually was trying to do. Like, I think that he thinks that she's snooping, but I don't think that he really that's Glenn Close level Fatal Attraction to be like, I want to watch you at all times. Then they go back to, okay, so they're in the car now, and he's like, oh, my brothers are like texting me and like they want to hang out. This is when the scene happens. And she's like, oh, cool, your brothers are texting you, want to hang out? Absolutely not, honey. We're going home. I'm going to cook. I'll tell you what I'm going to cook. Salmon, and I have a thing of seasoned croutons. In my mind, I was like, is she going to use the seasoned croutons as like a breading for the salmon? Or is the seasoned croutons in a side salad? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, she looks like she is a good cook. And I feel like this is a very healthy dinner. And so this scene suddenly looks like a Monique that has her life together scene. Suddenly, they look like a normal couple that are just cooking together. She, looks like a good cook. She's like also low key grounded in a way in the scene where she doesn't seem as crazy all the time. She almost seems like she's taken Like, she almost seems like she's, like, exhaled. If it wasn't for the fact that I just had to watch a scene where I was like, "You're gonna put fucking cameras everywhere? I'm just gonna watch this woman who just, like, gonna, like, violate this guy's rights and puts cameras and watches every move," to being like, "Hey, babe, just make a little salmon, little crusted seasoned crouton salmon. Everything's chill here, nothing to look at here, normal peeps living their life. Mental health is great," you know? What do you think, Wa?
Yeah, she made a side salad and it did look very healthy. She had the pieces of lemon out so they could squeeze, and he was just like, "This is what I want all the time, babe. This is great." And she's like, "You want me to cook for you all the time?" He's like, "Yeah, and I'll also cook for you, but I also want like times like this. Like this is cool." Then he almost like, well, this is before this. He almost takes her fucking eye out by opening up a bottle of prosecco, not aware, or maybe he just shook it up. I've never uncorked. I've never taken a wine bottle and taken off that little foil plastic thing and had it just shoot out. Like normally I have to kind of like slowly unscrew it or whatever. He could have taken out her tooth or her eye. Where did it
Absolutely.
even go? Where did it even go? She was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah, after it didn't like shoot you in the tit."
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Only because, yes, honey, you know, I took that wine class. Every time you see that kind of stuff, it really is dangerous because, yeah, there's like a lot of atmospheric pressure holding that cork in. And the minute the cage comes off, it's all hell breaks loose. So you really are supposed to, when you're opening champagne, keep the cage on top. You unscrew the cage from the side. You're not ever supposed to really take off the cage totally. You're supposed to kind of like take everything off at one time, you know,
Mm.
to just give that extra. Because once you take off the cage, you know, that's specifically what would be great. But you do you know, and also like, don't kill yourself. That's on you. I'm not a lawyer.
She's not a lawyer, ladies and gentlemen. So in case
No,
you were thinking to hire her as like
I'm not a
Farrah,
rapper. I'm not a
yeah.
lawyer.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not even a sommelier. I'm barely. I'm like only level 2.
She's the
Sadly.
closest to a sommelier you will meet. And so yeah, so she's like, "Babe," and he's like, "I want to lick it off of you." So they eat that food, and then like he goes and he jumps on her, and he looks like a toddler, just like edit, and then he throws the pillow at the camera, and that's the end of them. Moving on to the best
Oh, I
couple
have
of
one more thing to say about
okay,
that.
go
We
ahead.
forgot to put them. You know the car when she kept clearing her throat and he's like,
Oh yeah.
"Babe." He was like, "Are you okay? Like, we go get something?" In my mind, I was like, "You know she just took a little hit of a joint or something, and that's why she has that. Just let her be."
Is that no, that's not what it is. She doesn't
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah. No, she does.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was just like that's what just a little that's what you got. And yeah, she got a little too high, you know, and she like yeah, like she coughed and then it got a little dry. He's like, you because he even says like your throat's a little dry, and she's like, "No, Derek," you know, whatever. That's not her voice, but like basically, yes, her throat was dry. You got her high. You got her too high. You know you did that. Why are you calling her out on camera?
I wanted her to get some water too. I was like, "Girl, get some water." Just like stop. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Ashley and Travis. I mean, they really did just give us everything that we needed this episode.
Yeah, I cannot believe it. Like they are the best couple this season, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they didn't even get half as many episodes as they should have. So Travis is talking to his mother, and his mother has just finished telling him that he needs to wait and take it easy and not marry her.
Mhm.
And Travis gets upset with this because he's like, "Listen, she was down for me for 4 years. I'm gonna be down for her. I love her. She's my boo, you know." And he gets upset, and we don't quite understand why he's upset, and we find out later. He gets upset and he storms off, and then here she comes pulling up in her like Jaguar, whatever. I don't know what kind
Yeah,
of car that is.
fancy.
She's like, "Babe, what's up?" And he comes around the side of the car, and she's like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Just let me drive, let me drive." And I was like, "Oh, so I thought he was gonna like, yeah, I don't know what I thought he was gonna do to her." I was like, "What are you doing?"
I just my mind, I was like, he doesn't wanna be he doesn't look like a little kid being picked up by his mommy, you know, "I'm walking on the street." I think that's what he was trying to be like, "I wanna be the man, this is my fancy car, I'm driving," when it's like, "No, it's not your fancy car." Same with her fancy car, she I think leases it or something, I'm not quite sure what she does with it, I know she couldn't
Yeah.
for some reason, I
Also,
Carvana, I don't know.
if Ashley can let Travis drive her car, why can't Monique let what's his face drive? Anyways, there's that.
I think it's because she's renting it and she, like, leases it. Okay, so then basically Nathan is like Nathan, haha, Freudian slip because Travis has, like, Nathan style, like, moments or whatever. Travis is like, "No matter what I do, my mom thinks I'm gonna make a bad decision, We need to get a drink, is what he literally says in the
Yeah.
same breath. Okay, this man's gone to prison. So they do, honey. They are like, honey, Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, just bandits on the way to heaven, and in their heaven is a bar, honey, the diviest, grossest bar. She's wearing like this kind of muted green tone top and this weird chunky necklace. She's like, babe, I found a great piece for us. Found the greatest little platinum piece, honey. We're gonna like turn it all around with this platinum piece, I guess, or whatever. And he's just like so pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go get drinks and they order the drinks and she's like, this is on happy hour, right? And I was like, oh, yes, it is. So they order cherry bombs and vodka sprites. I didn't know people got those things, but good for them. I wonder what a cherry bomb is.
I think those are things that like that's like kids' first drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like vodka sprites actually sound good. I do like vodka sprites sometimes, but cherry, I mean, they just want to get effed up as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Listen, obviously, the title of this episode, Drunken Love, is
Mhm.
100% about them.
Mhm.
However, the title of this episode should have been, I want someone who's going to boss me up and not bitch me down. That
I
boss me up
mean,
and bitch me down should have been the title of this episode. But
yeah.
unfortunately, we have Drunken Love, which I mean, that was a lazy choice.
Yeah, boss me up and bitch me down was like crazy. I was like, where did we hear it? Who said that and why we made it a thing? Anyways, so they start to get MC hammered and then they go to play pool. And he's like, yeah, babe, this is what we're gonna do. This is what my mom thinks. And then all of a sudden she just like has an episode and she has the pool stick in her hand and she can't anymore. And she starts to cry and she walks away. And he's like, babe, what's wrong? And she's like, your mom doesn't even like me anymore. And like, I don't understand. It's like she liked me when I had money, and like, what's up with that? And I'm just like, okay. And then she's there. Then they're like, okay, we have to go live with your mom. They have to go live with the mom. So they make the decision to live with the mom, and this is the moment where she's like made the decision, but also needs to drink her sorrows away before they actually do it. So he's over there consoling her. They order more drinks. They also order a pineapple beverage. So to me, they order 3 different drinks. They order the cherry bomb, whatever the pineapple beverage is, and then they order this vodka Sprite. Like these two, I mean, talk about coping mechanism. They're both. I wouldn't be surprised if I see a mugshot of her and him later on in the future, and he goes back to prison.
Oh, absolutely. She's been looking like a messy drunk this entire time. I mean, that's absolutely the truth. Like you can tell that person just spends a lot of night just face down into her like down pillow. You know what I'm saying? Face
Yeah.
down pillow. So, she's has always had these emotional outbursts where she just suddenly Jekyll and hides it. You know, I mean, there's obviously something happening personality wise, and that's just what I mean. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? So you can't hold any of this against me, but I'm everything and more. So, she's outside, honey, and then she just beyond loses her mind. She starts to like be like, hold my bag, gives him her like Mary Poppin like carpet bag. It's disgusting. Then she like takes off her shoes, smoking a cigarette, throws her shoes. Is like, I'm gonna go on a walk over here. He's like, where you going, babe? To go on a walk or whatever. Then she's now flat foot, barefoot in wherever they are, smoking, crying for whatever reason, comes back saying, baby, thank you. I mean, like, this person is a disgusting mess, but she has the audacity to say this in the confessional. So in the confessional, she's like, sober later. And I couldn't get over it. She says, I don't care if I'm losing it in a parking lot of a dive bar I'll never be at again. I just want him to comfort me. In my mind, I was like, you're saying that, like, I don't care if I'm embarrassing myself in this dumb place I'll never be at again. I want to be like, bitch, you are embarrassing yourself on a national stage. You're not you physically in this moment might be in the parking lot of a dive bar, but you have actually gotten paid and signed a contract to actually have this entire moment on TVs everywhere. We're all seeing it. Your mom, your dad, I don't even know who you related to, any kids you have, even your dog is looking at this scene, just shaking your dog's head, just being like, I can't believe that's my mom,
Yeah. I
Okay, go ahead.
mean, she's just like, you still want to marry me? Like crying. And he says that he feels judged and misunderstood.
Mhm,
And that is what his mother makes him feel like. And I
mhm.
said, well, if you stop making stupid fucking choices, then people
Yeah.
wouldn't judge you. Like this whole thing about I feel judged. What is that? Can someone please explain to me what that is when a person makes continuously makes dumb choices and then gets frustrated that people are judging them?
Listen, I don't want to judge anyone, but I will say that if you have literally been judged by a professional judge, if your life has taken you to a place where a professional judge has made a judgment on you, then probably you can listen to a couple of judgments and like change things around.
I ugh, I just want someone to answer me.
You should be a professional judge, Well, if you love it so much.
No, I don't want to be a professional judge. I just want people
Why?
to stop telling me there's nonsense. I just want to stop having to deal with other people's poor choices and then being like, "Well, don't judge me." I'm not judging you. I'm saying that this is a stupid choice, so don't make any others. And then they make more and you're just like,
I know, but
"You
then
can't
even the
you can't see it?" Is it that they can't see it, Chris? Is it they don't in the moment they're like, I can't. Is it here's what happens. Is it that people aren't able to see the consequences of one choice?
Yeah, it's because
Mm.
you operate in like I think, and this is where I am in my life. Like sometimes people operate in a wise mind, and some people will operate in an emotional mind. And it seems like these lovely peeps, for whatever reason, pain or trauma has really regressed them from being able to make decisions and move in the wise mind more, somewhat trapping them in this like instant
Cycle.
gratification, yeah, emotional mind that needs something right away and assigns a story to it and is highly reactive to it. And so it's like clawing at them until it's gone. That's the Nathan. Like that's kind of that personality that like is still dealing with that. It's a very hard thing to like kind of move from. I'm
You know
definitely
what?
the
You know
place.
what? You're right. Because I feel that at night when I know I don't need to eat, and I'm like, if I could just have the thing that I'm thinking of in my brain, everything in the world will be right.
Hmm.
So thank you for that. If that's what is happening in these folks' minds, I understand it.
It is. And I think that I will say this. There is the practice of then being able to take yourself out and like a third person be like, "Oh, how interesting. I'm really craving something. That's an interesting thought that I really want this thing. I'm going to try and sit with it. Why have I assigned this to be a painful thought? I know it's probably like what if I just sit with it and see what it's like? And then if you can kind of be weirdly kind of like not judgmental about the moments, but kind of like investigate them, then maybe it takes you out of the emotional side and sort of like brings it to this investigative side. Not always is this like
Mhm.
sometimes you have to emotionally eat, or sometimes you have a craving. And I mean, and sometimes it's annoying about food because you're gonna have to eat for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But when you're an addict for like crack, my God, no, you're supposed to cold turkey how you never do that thing again. So like, but you also don't have to like go to restaurants where people are just like getting down on some yummy
Crack.
smelling crack all the
Yeah.
goddamn time. You're not sitting there for commercials just looking at like, look at that new crack. Oh my God, they put a Taco Bell crack together. I want a Taco Bell crack together. Like, thank God you don't. I mean, so it's a very different
Yeah.
thing. But isn't it weird?
Yeah, it is crazy. But anyway, so he says that like he misunderstood, and I'm just like, okay, you feel judged and misunderstood. So tell us what we need to understand about you. And the truth is that you don't know what you need to understand about you. So that's why you're making the poor choices. Anywho, so he's
Mhm.
worried that the police are going to get called because she's acting up, which is a very fair and rational fear. And he's trying to like keep everything together. And she's just like, I'm fragile and I need your help.
I hate this too because this is so selfish and manipulative on both parts. I just think like this person just came out of prison. You know who's also fragile and needs help? This person. But you're both addict users that want something that's not tangible and not a real healthy relationship. She's seeking companionship, also someone to get like drunk and hook up with. He's seeking a sugar mama and he got out and now she's more of like a Splenda mama. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so they're not getting it, but they're not even able to get out of it yet. Plus, they're being filmed on television. So this is the messiest. This is a horrible couple that I mean can't possibly do anything healthy and right with their life. It is fun to watch.
Okay, let me tell you what a cherry bomb is.
Okay.
It is just a shot of cherry vodka and Red Bull.
Wait, isn't there a song called Cherry Bomb or like
Yeah,
yeah,
cherry bomb. It's by like the girls, Pat Benatar group, maybe.
it goes like that? Just that one
Yeah,
cherry
it's like ba 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 cherry bomb. It's like a punk song.
bomb? Okay. Uh, I didn't know. No, I didn't know that that's what it was, but it makes sense. Cherry vodka and Red Bull. Ah, God, Red Bull. Boo.
Yeah,
I
you know what?
mm-mm.
Here's something that I had the other last Saturday, exactly to today. I went out with a gentleman to two shitty bars. But this, whatever.
I was waiting. I was like, okay. Did you want me to say something? I mean, I would. I
No,
would.
no,
Okay.
no, no, no. I was like, should I have said shitty bars? And I was like, no, no, they were. So two shitty bars. And the last one, we did like some kind of shot, some not a Jaeger bomb, but some like Red Bull something shot. It wasn't a cherry bomb, but it was very similar. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having this experience. I have never been at a bar and had shots. So that's my story.
Okay, that's a great story. Did anyone, including you or him or anyone in your head, go shot, 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 shot,
In
shot,
my mind,
shot?
I did
Yeah.
because I've like fully drank at a bar with somebody that I was on a date with, and we like danced on the dance floor. It was a whole thing that was happening to me. And in the moment I was like, oh my God, I'm having shots with somebody at a bar and I'm having drinks. And we ordered wings. It was very like
Messy.
very messy and not my normal California kind of thing to do. But
Honey,
anyways,
you know
there's that.
what? When in Rome. Well, we've gotten to the end of the ep. Here we are. Can you believe it? And let me just tell you, it's been a journey and it's been a journey. And
A
we've
Journey Smollett.
I know, right?
Cherry Bomb is by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. There you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for going on it with us. If you would like to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, you can. We are at DocuSweeties and DocuSweeties on TikTok and DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. And if you'd like to see the visuals, we've had some, and you can. Listen, you're gonna have to give us $10 a month. And if you want to, we will appreciate it. Why? How do they do that?
They do that by going to patreon.com/DocuSweeties, where you can see the visuals of what you're hearing right now. You guys, so we do have something fun out with some amazing folk. It's on our Patreon right now. Reality Gaze. So we dropped the first episode of Gunther's Millions, a Netflix docuseries. And we're going to have the rest of the episodes out to you soon. So please go ahead and check out that docuseries. And you can see the visuals of us and Maddie and Poodle on the Patreon, $10 a month, patreon.com/DocuSweeties. We love it. We actually just got 2 new patrons this week. So thank you guys so much for the new folks who joined us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome to our blended family.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.